Welcome to a step-by-step building tutorial for an easy-to-use crude oil loading station in railroads online. It can be quite tough loading up the tanker cars at the oil field because of how precisely you need to align the cars with the spouts, and eventually I just got tired of the process of trying to push the cars back and forth with an engine, and I just came up with my own system using stoppers. So all I need to do now is push the cars all the way up to the stopper, align the chutes with the cars, and then just open all the individual valves, and at that point I can just load up all the cars simultaneously using only the main valve over here. And once that is done to the first set, I just get in another set of empties, push them up to the stopper once more, and just open the valve again until all of them are full. No real need to even do anything with the chutes or with the spouts anymore at that point. So yeah, today I'll be giving you guys some measurements on how to recreate this system in your world. However, two things to mention beforehand. First up, I only figured out the measurements for the regular cars. So the regular tanker cars, the old ones with the highest capacity, and these are still the best ones in my opinion. If you want to use the coffin tankers or the tiny ones, you would need to figure out your own measurements. However, I think the overall building process would still be the same. You just need to figure out how long each single piece of track needs to be. Speaking of track length, I tried to make this as precise as possible, but the thing is, even when you go and place down a straight piece of track in circle mode with a grid length of 10, which gives you only one option for each single 0.1 meter increment for the length, they are still not always the same. So I tested this out by just snapping some pieces of track to the crossover pieces here. They are all supposed to be 4 meters long using the 10 grid, but if you look at this side you can see there is quite a bit of variation between them. So it's not 100% precise, and that may mean that you could potentially end up needing to redo a step, trying to maybe get a shorter increment here and there with still the same overall length, but nothing really I can do about that. I just want to urge you that if you build this using this tutorial, just start by getting a few cars in, save the world, and then try out if everything works out for you before doing a large scale operation here with a long train and a lot of tanker cars to fill up. Might save you some trouble and some lost resources here and there. Anyways, let's now clear this out and get into building. The first step of building this is trying to figure out the rotation of your industry. This is quite important for the alignment. So what I like to do is just get a straight piece of track in here, and I already know that I put down my industry at a 10-degree increment to the cardinal direction. If you place this down just by eyesight only, or if it's a pre-placed one, things might be a bit different for you, but the first step would be to just get a straight piece of track, put it close to the foundation, and just see if one of the rails is roughly in parallel with the foundation piece. For me that's looking pretty nicely so far, so this is all good. Just try to get the best alignment you can with angles given. Might go down to 1 degree angle alignment, but that's really what you need to do in order to get everything work properly. So the first real step when we start building is to get a 90-degree crossover piece. And my next step will be to try and align the surfaces of, or the ending surfaces of the shorter beams on the inside here to the corner piece of the foundation. So that's the corner when you look at the staircase and go to the left. This is the one we are looking at. It's important to pick this one. So let me just try and align this using the one grid, making it a bit more precise and less jittery. So it should be something like this. This place is a bit fiddly to do this. Doesn't need to be perfect, so this is way better than it needs to be. So yeah, from this point, we want to take another spline piece and just lay down a straight piece of track straight across from the, or in front of the staircase. And this should be 1.9 meters long. And I'll be going into the 10 grid for this one again. Just again a reminder, this is not 100% precise, even though it looks like it should be. From here we want to get another 90-degree crossover piece, snap it to the track that we just laid out, and from here just going onto the side of the station with an 11.7 meter long track. Just like this, and now we should have the first snapping point for our stopper. So this is really the first thing that's going to stay. Everything is temporary, which means that we are now going to also start removing some of it. So let's get rid of the first crossing point and also the little track that we laid out, because we need to actually replace this with a slightly longer one. Another straight piece of track with a length of 2.5 meters now, again going across in front of the staircase. So this is now what gives us the measurement for the other side. With another crossover piece, we can then try laying out this piece of track here. This now needs to be 11.8 meters long. So just a tiny bit longer than on the other side, and that's for good reason. But this will also give us the next point for the stopper. The thing about the spouts here is, if you look at them closely, you see that there's a bit of a difference from this side over here where it comes up to this side right here. But on this end, there's actually a much larger difference, and that means that these measurements need to be slightly different, and also this side of the track should be a bit further away from the platform than on this side. So yeah, this is how it has to look. If you made it look a bit crooked like this, you have done everything correctly, and that's just down to the distance between the two spouts on each side being different. So yeah, this is basically all that you need. However, there are of course people who may be wanting to come in from the other side based on how their industries are placed. To do that, you can just take another straight piece of track and snap it to the stopping point and just make that 4 meters long. Do so on both sides, and that should give you the snapping point for the stopper if you wanted everything to come in from the other direction. So if this would snap now, just like this. So these two stoppers, of course, being if you want to come in with empties from this side, these two stoppers if you want to come in from the other side. If you want to get really efficient, once you have figured out which side you want to use, you can put a switch over here. Just again snapping it to the stopper itself. And this means that any car that you have filled up already, you only need to pull back a little, pass the switch here, and then can just shove onto another siding, and that will make it real quick to get the next set of empties in. And yeah, that's pretty much the entire tutorial. Should work out well. Let me just real quick build the other part of the track again, so I can show you guys how it should look once you actually get a set of cars in. There's always gonna be a tiny bit of variation on how it comes out, but should be precise enough to make it work. So let me just get rid of this piece of track and just build a connection to the switch over here. Just like this, and now all we need to do is push the cars forward, and that should be about it. So only gonna give it a bit of a push because I don't want the cars to derail. They can take a bit of force, but don't want to overdo it. In hindsight, I should have maybe placed them a bit closer here, but we are getting there. Just give me a moment. So the cars might roll back a tiny bit, so I'll just give them a bit more force. And that should ensure that they are properly lined up to the end of the stopper. And now all I need to do is come around using the chutes. That's looking pretty nicely. And this one needs to come around a bit further. Something like this, and now I could load up these two cars, get another two on this side, and you know, I already explained the entire process, but yeah. This has been the tutorial for this thing. Serve me well on the other save, is going to do me a lot of good on this one as well. So I hope this was useful, and thanks for watching. Till next time, bye bye.